All right, so this is my blank init automation. And the idea is to have a trigger node and trigger an automatic call whenever a lead is added inside your HubSpot CRM. That can be from anywhere, maybe your website, when somebody fills a form, or like you have linked your HubSpot CRM with, let's say, a Facebook lead ad or anything. But as soon as the lead arrives, this automation should run and that lead should receive a call from our VoiceAI agent. So for that, the first thing we have to do is to add a trigger node of HubSpot. So if I click here and I search for HubSpot, we'll have all these trigger nodes that are available for the HubSpot connection. For our use case, we have to check on the contact created. Okay, and now I have to create a new credential for my HubSpot account. Now here is the first problem because this, as you can see, is a HubSpot developer account, not a normal HubSpot that you sign up using your company details, right? So we have to first make a developer account and then we have to make an app inside of that developer account, which will then fetch the data from our main HubSpot account. So the idea is that you'll have one main account, which will host all your deals, contacts, phone numbers, everything inside your company will be hosted in that main HubSpot account. But you have to create an app through a developer portal that can access specific things from your main account. So for that, you have to make a new account from HubSpot developers. So you can just Google that and the link is developers.hubspot.com. And once you go here, you have to create a new account. This account will be separate from your main HubSpot account. And you can use the same email. They will be linked, but again, they will be two different entities altogether, right? So I'll click on go to my account. And here, as you can see, this is my main HubSpot account and this is my developer account. So let me select this and then I will get inside my developer account. Now here, like I said, I have to create an app which can access the contents from my main HubSpot CRM, and then I can do any automations using N8N by linking that app to my N8N, right? So here, let's say we create an app and this is one that I have already created. I'll probably start a new one from scratch. So the name doesn't matter. You can name it whatever and you provide description like anything. The next part is you have to go to the auth section and then you have to first add this redirect URLs. So this is something you have to get from here. So click copy and paste it right here. That is going to be the first step that you have to do to make it work. So once this is done, the next very important thing is to add the required scopes for this particular app. Now this app will be used in our trigger node and we'll also use more nodes and that will be a node app, and both of these scopes are very, very different. Here is the documentation of N8N and they have clear definitions that like the HubSpot node is different from the HubSpot trigger. So if I go down, this would be the process of how you're going to create the apps, which I just showed you. And then you have to make all those keys, which I'll just show you right now. And then this is the important part. So for HubSpot trigger node, I have to have these all scopes inside my developer app. So we go here and then we have to add a scope. Now HubSpot gives me all of these different scopes that we can add inside our app. There are so many things that we can access through the apps. But the important part is we have to only grant the permissions of these particular scopes in order to make it a valid trigger node inside our N8N, right? So for that, I'll just copy this and I'll go back to my developer app and I'll find a scope and I'll check this. Similarly, I will copy this and then I'll go back to my HubSpot, paste this, bam, bam, do this, paste this, check, fourth, fifth, and sixth, right? So I have given it all these scope permissions, which is what the documentation of N8N requires us to do, right? So once this is done, I'll just press on create the app. And now I can go to the auth section and copy all of these things to get inside and have my credentials right here, right? So first thing I'll do is I'll just copy the app ID and paste it here. I'll copy the client ID, paste it here. I'll copy the client secret and paste it here. Now, the developer key is at a different place. So we go to keys and we go to developer API key right here, and we'll show this and click copy, and I'll paste it right here. Now, everything is done. All it needs is a connection to my account. So I press this, and then it will open up a window which will again show me all the accounts that are listed inside my email. Now it will have two accounts. Make sure you select your main account, because using this connection, we are accessing data from your main account, right? So we press this and we choose this account, and it will say that you are connecting an unverified app, which is fine. I'll connect this and it should work. Right now, connection is successful. We go back to our N8N and we get out of this. Now this trigger is done. So what this will do is this will trigger itself as soon as a lead is added inside my HubSpot CRM. Let's test it. Let's execute this step and let's go back to our main HubSpot account, which is right here. Right. So this is my main account, the CRM one, and I'll create a new contact and I will just say a test contact, and I'll just say a test name. Job title is founder, phone number is this one, and lead is lead, and lead status is new. And as soon as I create this, it should fire up a webhook, and there we have our contact details of this contact which I just created inside my HubSpot. So this is all working. So this trigger is now working. Right now, the thing is that we cannot have the details of that contact by only triggering this node, because it only gives us the contact ID and not any of these details, right? So to fetch the details and pass it on to our VoiceAI agent, we have to add a new node. And for that, we have to make a new app, because remember, according to the documentation of N8N, the trigger node is going to have all these scopes and permissions, but the HubSpot node one has to have these all permissions, right? So we go back to our developer portal and I'll create a new app, and this app is going to be the node section of N8N. So it can be N8N HubSpot node, right? And I can just make any description. Now, the first thing we need to do is to add a callback URL. So this is the callback URL which we will use for every single app in our account. Now we come to scopes and we have to add the scopes which are present right here, right? So auth is by default always there. We have to add all these scopes now. So let's add it one by one. Forms and tickets. So we have forms, we have tickets, and then we have to have read and write for companies, read and write, and we have to have this one, and we have to have this one. It's very tedious to have to do all of these one by one, but that's how it needs to be done inside HubSpot. Read and write, deals, read and write, and deal schemas is here. This one is here, and then list write permissions. So after doing all of that, it should be working fine. There is nothing else that we have to do. So I'll just create an app right here. We can create a new node inside our N8N automation. Let's say we go to HubSpot and we go for get a contact, right? So here I'll just create a new credential. And for that, we have to just use our auth2 method, because here we have to use the auth2 method to connect this particular app, right? So I click here, connect my account, and again, we have to make sure that we are connecting our main HubSpot account, right? So we choose this and connection is successful. This is done. And now we can get our contact from the ID, and the contact ID is going to be this one. And if we execute, it should give us all the details of that particular client that we just added. And let's say we go to schema or email, and this is the email that we added as our contacts. So we can fetch the contacts by getting the ID for by this particular node. So our major chunk of work is done. So we have a trigger node which will trigger depending upon when any contact is added inside your HubSpot. And then we have a get contact node which will fetch the details of that added contact. Now the next step is going to be to create a call passing these variables into our VAPI VoiceAI caller. So we have to configure a node which will trigger a VAPI call using these credentials, right? So for that, let's go back to our VAPI dashboard and let's create a test agent and link all this up with that one. Okay, so this is our VAPI dashboard. Let's quickly create a new assistant to just demo this. So let's say HubSpot assistant. And here is a blank assistant. Let's quickly just make it usable. So I'll use mini. OpenAI is fine. Assistant waits for user. Hey, how is it going? Here I'll say you are a helpful assistant and your job is to just ask the user how he's doing. Right. So this is my agent prompt and I don't think I have to do any other changes. I'll click publish right here. And I'll just double check if I have a phone number inside here. Let's say I name it as main and click save. And now let's go to the VAPI docs and figure out what is the API call that we have to do. So we go to API reference and we go to create a call. And here I'll have to click on try it. And meanwhile, get my API key from here. And I'll just make a new key. Let's say HubSpot and assistants. So let's say I select this one, create the key. I copy this and I'll go back here and I'll just add my key right here. And body parameters has to be, first of all, the assistant ID, which is going to be this one. We go to assistants, we copy the ID and we paste it right here. Then it's going to be the phone number ID, which is again, I'll find from here. And this is the phone number ID. Right now, I have to search for customer and then I would have to have the phone number of the customer. Now, instead of doing it manually, I'll just tell you a shortcut on how you can quickly just copy and paste this curl code and create a call node inside your N8N automation. Okay, and for that, we just copy this code right here. We go back to our N8N, we just open up an HTTP request and click on here and import curl, and we just paste everything right here, right? And as soon as I do that, it will automatically create all the required credentials, which I otherwise had to do manually, right? Now here, I can add my dynamic variables. Let's say the name is going to be right here. Name is going to be present right here, which says name is Rish, and the number is going to be right here. So I'll just search for number, which is going to be right here. And now it says the number is this, which is going to call. So now this workflow is complete. Now what will happen now is, as soon as a new lead is added inside your HubSpot, it will trigger this node. It will fetch all the details of that lead and will give a call to that lead. Now, since this workflow is activated, now let's get back to our HubSpot and let's create a new contact. And let's say I say my email, first name, last name, job title is creator, phone number is this one, apply, lead status is new. And if I create this, it should automatically trigger this node inside our N8N automation. And I should be getting a call right here in about a second. Yes, here we have. So let's see. Hello.
Hi there. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. How can I assist you today?
Right. So you saw this is how the call was done. Now here we'll have all the details about that call. Let me just pin everything right here so that we don't lose any of this thing in our future testing. By the way, a small tip on N8N, if you don't want to run these nodes again and again and you want to retain the data that you have already for the next node, just press here to pin your data or just select the node and press the P key on your keyboard, which will pin the data, right? So now we have all of this right here. And now we can update our CRM depending upon what happened and was the call made or not, right? So for that, we'll choose an if node, and if, let's say, I will create. Now, once we have the call ID from this node, there is a easy way and a hard way to get the call summary back inside our HubSpot CRM. So this is a call summary column that I have created. Let me just show you how you can also create one. So you have to go to edit columns and you have to go to create a property, and then you have to make it something like call transcript, and you can group it like conversation information, and then here field type you have to add like multi-line text. And once you create it, you'll be able to add it from this section, and like I can just search for call summary and it's added right here. Right now, to enable that inside our get contact node in N8N, because we added this before we created this column, we have to again refresh our uh, connection with N8N. So for that, just click here, just reconnect, and you'll be able to add this column very easily in the next step. But coming to the point, once we have the call ID, we have to get the information out of what happened in the call. Now, there are two ways to do that. One way is if you have set up something that we call as maximum call duration, right? If you have it set in your agent, and I think you should always have this because sometimes there are some problems in network and the call can go continuously without anyone speaking, and that can incur unnecessary cost for you. So to mitigate that, always have a call summary of maximum duration inside this section. So right now we have a max duration of 600 seconds, which means 10 minutes. So after 10 minutes, the call is going to disconnect any which ways, right? Once we know that, what we can do is we can have a wait node right here, and we can have it a wait amount of, let's say, if we have 600 right here, we can have it like 610 seconds that it will wait for it to execute. And after 610 seconds, it's definitely going to get executed and we should have our call details, right? Now, once we have the call ID, we can fetch all the details of what happened in that call. Let me show you how. So we again go to docs.vapi.ai. We go to API reference. We have to click on this get call section to get the information of that call. So we'll do try it. And again, I have to put my API key like this. And if I send request, it should give me all the information like that. By the way, there's an easier way to do that, which is right here. This is my extension, which I made, which is called VAPI Inspector, in which you can get information about any call in a much easier and more understandable way versus doing like this, So you can just quickly see what happened in one of your calls just by this call ID, right? But anyway, so this is the curl that we have to take from here, and we have to add it on an HTTP request node and import curl. and we have to import like this. And now if I execute this, this is going to wait. So I'm going to delete this node for now, and I'm going to just execute this one, and it is going to give me all the details of what happened in that call using that call ID. So we have the transcript, we have the summary, everything, right? And now we can execute another node of HubSpot right here, and then we can update the contact, and I'm going to update this same contact that we had with the email address, which is this one, right? And then we have to add a property which is not listed here because that's a custom property which I just made. So I have to search for custom properties, and then here I have to select the call summary, and here I'll go to this node, and then I'll have the call summary like that, right? Now, let's say I center everything. If I execute this, let me first show you how it looks like right here. So right now we have no call summary, but if I execute this, we should have a call summary present right here. If I refresh this, it should come up. Yeah, you see, it has the whole call summary, what happened on this call, right? So in this way, very, very easily, you can execute this whole thing. You should have a wait node right here, which should be more than what you have listed as the maximum call duration in this section, so that it will wait for that duration and then execute this particular uh, node of getting the call information and then submitting that information inside the HubSpot CRM. The harder way is to catch the webhook without waiting for this to execute. And for that, we have to make another workflow in N8N. So I'll just show you that as well. So we go here and let's say save it. We save it and we go here and we create another workflow. And here we have to go to Webhook, and then check this production URL and go to our VAPI, and then go to our account section, go to settings and go to org settings and paste your Webhook URL right here. Right here, and if you have a secret, you can add that, but otherwise you can just leave it as alone and you save it. Now what will happen is, as soon as any new call ends, it's going to send all the call summary back to this node, and from here we can connect another HubSpot node which will then search for a contact, and here we will select to limit it as 1, add a filter group, and we will add a filter of, let's say, phone number, and we will pass the value of the number that this call was sent to, so that it will fetch all that transcript and map it to this particular client. So just to give you an example, let me save this and let me make it active. Let's execute this and let's execute this workflow as well without the pinned things, and let's save this and let's execute. Now I have to go back to my HubSpot and create again a new contact that will trigger the call to me. So let's say, so my job title is YouTube and phone number is this one. Apply, lead status is new, and if I click create, this should trigger, and I just received a call.
Going
Hello,
there. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very good, thank you.
That's great to hear. How can I assist you today?
I'm just trying to get this demo out.
Understood. How are you feeling about the progress so far?
It's going good. After this call, this is going to send me a transcript.
That sounds helpful. How do you feel about using transcripts for your demo?
Okay, so let's cut this call and let's wait for this webhook to trigger. And there we have it. So this is what we have as the post-call analysis of what we just had. So it has every single transcript and we have the reporting URL. So every single data point that we are having without to manually wait for the automation to complete. So this way we'll have a real-time webhook response of whatever is happening on our call fronts, right? So now we can add a HubSpot node and we can search for contact. And from here, I could search, let's say, limit it to 1 and add filter. And I can have phone number as this. And I can search for the phone number of the customer right here. And then I can actually search for that customer and then I can update the call summary corresponding to that customer, right? So for example, right now, this call summary is going to be completely blank. So now it's blank. Now let's go back to my N8N workflow right here. And now, since I have searched for this customer, which was present in this webhook response, right? Now I'll update the customer by adding HubSpot node again and updating a customer, right? And here I would get the email and then add a property, which is again custom properties. And then I will add the call summary and the call summary is going to come from the webhook, right? So the summary is going to come from here and that's it. As soon as I execute this step, this will be filled, right? So if I do this, the response is good. And now if I refresh this, we should have a call summary present right here, right? So in this way, you will have to have these two automations running in parallel. So we probably will have to delete this node or disable it like that. And only this automation will work, right? And as soon as the call ends, it will automatically send the end call report to this webhook. This will in turn search for the customer who is corresponding to this phone number on which this call was made. And then the call summary will be updated to that customer inside our HubSpot CRM. So that is the whole workflow, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. We can have so many other custom setups, and if you are somebody who's looking to power or enrich your HubSpot CRM with Voice AI, the link to book a meeting with me would be in the description. And like always, if you found some value with this video, drop in your comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you sometime in the next one.